The between every 8 foot on center of the grapes growing. Grapes are going 8 foot on center and going side to side as they come up. But they also have tomatoes in all these in between the 8 foot. So every 4 foot on center is something planted, and 8 foot on center is the grapes. So got lots of tomatoes. All my tomatoes are really busting a move, and I actually put some tomatoes with the in the same beds. I just hate to miss space. I want to use every available inch, and so you can see that the grapes are doing great, and yeah, they're really busting a move. I got grapes literally growing all over this place. I don't know if you can see them in this viewfinder, but I can't see nothing. But anyway, they're doing great. And anyway, so the grapes are doing great. They come along and they come, as you can see, they're here. They go up every 8 foot on center. I have grapes coming up, and then in between those, so the entire fence will be covered with grapes all along the entire thing, and it's going to work out really good. Here is my grape arbor, and I have 2 grapes growing on each post. So there's 8 kinds of grapes here, and they're doing really good. And I'll go inside and see if you can see what you can see down here. But the grapes are doing really great. It's hard to see. I'm not really sure what you can see with a viewfinder, but I'm seeing a lot, and they're doing really good. And so grapes are doing excellent, and they're just piled high, and like I said, it's hard to tell whatever you can see, but anyway, doing really good. And here you have a couple new beds that were planted. I made these beds here because I just had more available space. Put in some crooknecks and stuff. As you can see through here, though, this is the back of the garden, you can see all the trellises. Every bed, every planter has its own trellis. And the best way to see this is before I plant during the winter, so you can see how the system looks. When it's covered with stuff, it's hard to see, but all these are doing fantastic. They're making their way up, and they're doing really, really well. And they got lots and lots of stuff here. We got lots of tomatoes, and you're all doing really good, getting ready to really start turning color and doing really well. Peppers, of course, doing really good. I have volunteer cantaloupes growing all over the place. I just went ahead and left them all. Whatever I saw when I just threw a cage or something around. And so these are all just volunteers, but they're doing spectacular also. And here, what I'm trying to do is grow just as much food as I possibly can for the food bank, of course. So when volunteers come up, I just figure they're from God, giving us more food for free, you know. So far, everything's worked out really, really well. And all the, I mean, tomatoes are literally busting out at the seams. The peppers are doing fantastic. All these things are doing great. And if you can see, I don't know what you can see in these things here, but it's hard to see things with so many leaves, you know. But literally every square inch of these things are just piled on full of big giant things, tomatoes and such, whatever's growing, I guess. Our blueberries, we had a lot of problems with ground squirrels this year, and I think one ate the roost for this blueberry because it was doing great. It produced great blueberries, and then now it's dead, completely dead. The other ones are still doing okay, so hopefully they'll live and produce more next year. But this one produced a lot and then died. All the artichokes are dead from the ground squirrel. They came and ate all the roots until they fell over. So I lost all my artichokes. That's what I meant to say. All the artichokes are now gone, and that's it. So they're gone. Like I said, the tomatoes are all starting to hit colors now, and they're just busting a move. They're all over the place. You can just start to see them now coming all over and coming into fruition, but they're really nice big ones too. And again, I have peppers planted everywhere. This is the asparagus bed. And the asparagus bed, now first off, you can see the tomato beds. It's hard to see anything else but tomatoes. I mean, I'm looking through the viewfinder, I can't really see nothing, but that's 7'6" tall. The top of those, now that's 7'6" tall off of 2 foot. So it starts off at 2 foot off the ground, so they're actually 9'6" tall, but they're all the way up from the ground right there at the top of 2 foot, up 7'6" all the way to the very top of that rim there. And that's just beginning. They're just really starting their season. So they're going to be huge. And then I got just an endless amount of asparagus. The asparagus are doing fantastic. And now they're all ferning, of course. So that's what they do. And then at the end of the year, by next season, I'll cut them all down and let them start sprouting new asparagus again. But literally, they're just doing fantastic. You can see every crown is just doing fantastic. I mean, look at all the sprouts off each crown. So anyway, they're doing really good. A real nice, tight bed. Again, it's hard to see the tomatoes in the viewfinder. I hope you can see them in this video. Here I have a eggplant, and it's doing good. Got some eggplants in there. Leaves keep everything covered so you can't see anything. I don't know what you're seeing in the video, but and then I have a tomato plant there. I'll get that in a second. Here, doing really well. All these really nice sized cucumbers. You can really see the cucumbers here. I think you can see them. I don't know. Anyway, they're all doing really well. Yeah, they're busting a move in there. Anyway, whatever. Here, I have the not devils. I got they're called dragon eggs. They're kind of like lemon cucumbers, but they don't ever turn yellow. They're dragon egg cucumbers. They're fantastic. You can see all the millions of flowers. They're just really busting a move. I've just been harvesting them like crazy. And all the trellises are doing really well. All the cucumbers are in there. I already picked them all this year. I took them all to the food bank already yesterday, but you can still see some are growing, you know. They're in the middle of their growing stage. And but anyway, they're doing really good. And the trellises are all the way up. They're doing good. They're starting to go up there to the top. Here is, oh well, let me go back to this. Over here we have the tomato. This is a grafted tomato. It's a heirloom grafted tomato plant, and it was planted last, so that's why it's so small. I just planted it about 3 weeks ago, and it's doing great. It has the aroma bottom because they have a better root system, and then the heirloom top, as the heirloom had a really bad root system, so we grafted it into a aroma that's doing great. And like I said, the eggplant is doing fantastic. I just planted that at the same time I planted the tomato plant. Here is a big pepper bed. I have 2 pepper beds. That's also a pepper bed right there. And literally there's just peppers. It's hard to see peppers, you know. You gotta come actually and look. But I'm trying to take pictures for you, but I don't know if I can actually get pictures. There's millions of peppers on these plants, and I can see them, but I don't know if you can see them on this viewfinder. But anyway, they're doing great, and everything's just busting a move in here. Now it's just hard to see. Trying to show you stuff, but anyway, they're everywhere. They're every square inch. Peppers just keep on busting a move, and they just keep coming. I mean, I just got pounds and pounds. These tomatoes are incredible. When you sit there and think about it, how much tomatoes are on one plant. Literally every square inch is packed full of giant tomatoes. And when they finally hit, it's going to be incredible. I'm supposed to get 4,500 pounds this year based on my last year's averages of 45 pounds per plant. And I got 100 plants, so that's 4,500 pounds of tomatoes, but I can see they're already there. I mean, they're literally there waiting to be picked. All these plants are doing real well. All these pepper plants, different kinds of peppers, and trying to see if I can find stuff for you, but Anyway, they're all doing really good. Okay, and of course we got the two more trellises there with just a bunch more tomato plants set up also right there. Here we got another tomato plant doing real well. Big giant tomatoes, and here we got more squash. And some of these tomatoes are so huge, I'm literally going to take some weights on them because they're just so big. I mean, I've never seen tomatoes this big. Of course, I've only been gardening for 3 years, so not like I know a bunch of stuff, but there are some that are so big that I'm just blown away by it. I mean, look at the size of this tomato. My hand could never go around it. That's my hand trying to go all the way around it. It's just huge tomatoes. And like I said, they're starting to come into season now, but there's some giant tomatoes coming through here. I got pepper plants through the whole thing, and you're able to see peppers, and they're doing really well. And over here, again, more pepper plants, and amongst all the tomato plants. Now, I've used up almost all my compost this year. I have a little bit left. I'm actually in the process of making now. And this is finished compost here. That's still left over from last year. But I took all my compost and put it out here. And so altogether I had about 15 yards of compost. And it's just pure compost sitting on a blue tarp. And I planted some zucchinis and tomatoes right out here in front. I just planted these tomatoes maybe 2 weeks ago. They're already doing fantastic. I got butternuts in there, zucchinis. It's hard to see stuff, but anyway, lots of stuff doing really good. And this whole thing is just pure compost sitting on a blue tarp. So it's actually doing really, really well. We've got tons and tons of stuff in there. I mean, if you could see it, I don't know if you can see stuff in here, but there is all kinds of butternuts and honeydews and cantaloupes and I don't know what you can see there, but watermelons and all just tons and tons of stuff. Lots of stuff doing really, really well. And even, there's still some babies growing, and some gigantic ones too. So it's in the real process of making this thing happen. Anyway, nice size, huh? You can see again from this side of the garden how big it is. It's just doing great. Everything's just busting. Look how big everything is, I mean, literally, those are that's 10 foot off the ground right there, and just incredible. And it's just the season's just starting. And right now, last year at yesterday's date, I had 1,250 pounds. I took some in today on the 12th of last year, and so it brought up the weight. But as of yesterday, I was over twice. My harvest this year has been over twice what it was last year at the same time. So this year has been absolutely phenomenal. Even though everybody says it's a real bad year, it's been absolutely phenomenal for me. I've just been really blessed. Everything's just coming unglued, and I have so much stuff. It's incredible, and you can see how everything is just really growing really big.